Laser sights increase confidence regardless of experience level, whether you're learning the fundamentals or overcoming aging eyes. Crimson Trace, making laser sights standard equipment. Visit crimsontrace.com to find a dealer near you.
He rode out of Louisiana territory, and with his gun slung low and his microphone held high, he brought truth to a savage land. And the legend grew. Tom Gresham's Gun Talk.
Yes, the Great West. Do love it. Love those mountains. Love to be out there. Speaking of which, by the way, if you'd like to join us, our number is 866-TALK-GUN. Something on your mind, a range report you'd like to give us, a gun that you've been shooting, or maybe one that you haven't shot in a long time and you're curious about. By all means, give us a holler. We're just sitting around the old campfire, knocking it around here. Just call me at Tom Talk Gun. That's the easiest way. I'm Tom Gresham, your host. And joining me right now is a longtime friend, a real gun writer, been hunting all over the world. And when it comes to hunting and rifles and loads and everything else, he's kind of the go-to guy. I'm talking about Ron Spomer. Check it out at RonSpomerOutdoors.com. Hey, Ron, how are you, sir?
Hello, Tom. Good to talk to you. I'm doing fine. How are you?
Well, good. You're out there in the Wild West in Idaho?
Yes, sir.
You've been an Idahoan for a long time now.
Yeah, it's kind of catching up with me. You know, I've always considered myself a South Dakotan because that's where I grew up, but now I'm realizing I've lived in Idaho longer than I did in South Dakota, so I guess I'm an Idahoan.
I guess you were living in South Dakota when I first met you on the prairie dog hunt 30 years ago, I guess, something like that. Oh, yeah,
that's right. I think it was 1980, and we were just a couple of young pups.
That's right. We were having fun out there.
You sure were.
You have been fortunate enough to write for most of the major magazines, written books. You've hunted really all over the world and everything. And you've pretty much been able to try, all of the new rifles, all the new cartridges, everything that comes out. And I was very interested when I was talking to you, and I've been reading your great website, by the way, RonSpomerOutdoors.com. You have kind of arrived at the same place that I have, which is, and we both done it. We've shot the Magnums for a long time because I shot flat, hit hard, et cetera, et cetera. Are those days over now?
I don't think they're over, Tom, but they're sure slowing down a lot because I think with rangefinders, laser rangefinders, and the high ballistic coefficient bullets that guys are starting to shoot, we are realizing that we can reach out and touch game pretty easily and precisely with ordinary cartridges or even slower velocity cartridges, just because we know exactly where they are and we know our ballistic trajectory. At that point, if you can put your bullet where it belongs in the old heart-lungs boiler room, as we used to call it, you really don't need a Magnum to get the job done. I think there's been a Magnum fallacy running around ever since the days they invented them, because obviously they have more punch, but I don't really think that horsepower or punch has made the difference. The advantage of the old Magnum days when we didn't know the exact range was that it extended your useful maximum point blank range.
Exactly.
And that was valuable and still is. But,
sure, don't you think you probably got another 100 yards of usable, not having to hold off of hair when you had a really flat shooting Magnum cartridge, and when we were left to just kind of guess. I'm not sure if it's 300 or 400. Just aim somewhere right below the back line. Make sure we hold on hair, and we're going to be good no matter what. But we don't have to do that now.
No, we don't. I mean, I still do it. I still sight for the maximum point-blank range system, and then I build my longer range trajectories with the rangefinder after that. So that still gives me the advantage of saying, I don't know exactly how far that deer is, nor do I have time to pull out my laser and find out. So I'm going to hold dead on, and I'm good to 300 yards, or whatever my particular cartridge is allowing me to do.
Right.
So I still see some value in that, but I'm not going to put up with the recoil of the big 300 or 338 Magnum anymore, because I'm killing the large animals with 6.5s and, in many cases, even a 243 Winchester. Again, it's the right bullet in the right place.
Well, there is that. And that was one of the things I was going to ask you to talk about. Tell you what, let's do this. I want to take a quick break. When we come back, and we'll have a little bit more time on the backside, let's talk about the value and what has happened in the way of ammo and better bullets and what that has meant for hunting and what it has allowed us to do in choosing our hunting rifles. We're talking with Ron Spomer. Check out his website, ronspomeroutdoors.com. I'm Tom Gresham. We'll be right back.
It's the next generation target pistol, the SW22 Victory from Smith & Wesson. Stainless steel frame, interchangeable match barrel, thumb safety, fiber optic sights, and a Picatinny rail. The SW22 Victory is ready for anything, targets or small game. Also available with a threaded barrel or cryptic camo finish. And it's backed by the Smith & Wesson Lifetime Service Policy. Learn more about the SW22 Victory at smith-wesson.com.
For 36 years, the U.S. Sportsmen's Alliance has been fighting to protect hunting, fishing, and trapping for sportsmen from coast to coast. Today, we are under constant attack from extremist animal rights groups who want to end your ability to hunt in the U.S. Join us to protect our sporting heritage and our way of life outdoors. To join or for more information on how you can help, go to ussportsman.org. That's ussportsman.org.
If you carry a gun, you need training. Your concealed carry class was definitely not training. But time, money, and obligations keep you from spending days at a shooting school. The trusted folks at Gun Talk can help. Concealed Carry 1, our DVD featuring the VADA Group, covers what gun, what holster, how to carry, where to wear your gun, and much more. Visit shopguntalk.com. That's shopguntalk.com. Look, this really is life and death. Learn how to stay aware, how to get away, and how to fight if you must. At shopguntalk.com, you can get the 2 DVD set, including Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. No matter what gun you carry, this vital training info can save your life. Learn the draw, the stance, reloading, vital gear from Gun Talk. That's shopguntalk.com. shopguntalk.com.
Brownells has gone retro. Check out Brownells' new line of retro AR-15 and AR-style 308 rifles at brownells.com/retro. Whether you're looking for Eugene Stoner's original 308 design, the famous M16A1, Air Force 601, or the XM177 carbine, Brownells has the classic, new production, old-school rifle of your dreams. Own the firearm you used in basic training, carried in service, or that Grandpa always talks about. See more at brownells.com/retro.
All right, back with you here, Tom Gresham. We are talking with Ron Spomer. Check it out, ronspomeroutdoors.com, and it's Spomer. Ron is also the recipient of the 2016 Rich Gresham Shooting Sports Communicator of the Year Award. Let's see, Ron, magazine articles, books, TV shows, online, apps, pretty much any way you can communicate about guns and shooting, you're doing it.
Yeah, that's sort of what you have to do these days, but I consider it an honor and a pleasure to be able to reach folks any which way, and we've really got an advantage these days with the internet and all to reach out and get some questions answered. It's just a lot easier for new shooters to come up to speed, considering how we had to do it back in the day,
we had to wait until the next magazine came out. If we sent a letter into the magazine, we had to wait 6 months before Jack O'Connor would answer it.
Here you go.
All right, so we were talking about the whole Magnums versus non-Magnums, and, we were shooting a 300 Winchester Magnums, Weatherby Magnums, Jarrett's, all the rest of them, and then the big Remingtons and 338s, 340s. And honestly, when you go further back, and I know you are a student of this, you go back to people who were using the 7x57, the 6.5x55, and they were shooting big critters 100 years ago with that, and they probably were scratching their heads thinking, why are you guys shooting them with such big guns?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's always been this tendency to play macho man and want a bigger gun. I mean, look at the old Ruark book, Use Enough Gun. Mm-hmm. And what he was really having problems with during that African safari was not the the 220 Swift he was shooting, it was that little 45 grain varmint bullet he was trying to shoot at larger animals. And of course, it broke up on the outside, and he had all kinds of flesh wounding problems. Well, you convert that bullet into a solid controlled expansion bullet, and it's a whole new ballgame.
Well, going all the way back to the nozzle partition, which was for many of us, it was the first really controlled expansion bullet. It was the first premium hunting bullet. It changed everything, and now everybody has a good controlled expansion hunting bullet. To how much do you think that has changed the whole character of what we do as hunters?
Oh, I think it's got to be at least 80% of it. Because guys now realize with these bonded bullets or the segmented bullets, the sectioned bullets, even the monolithic bullets, you can penetrate with a lighter bullet the way you did with a much, much heavier bullet. So you can reduce your recoil because you don't shoot such a heavy bullet. And as we discussed earlier, you don't really need the top-end velocity now that we have laser rangefinders. Put those together, and you're shooting more precisely, because there's just no flinch factor. Even if it's a little subconscious flinch, it just makes it a lot easier to shoot one of the 6.5s, like you said, or a 7mm 08 Remington. And I've reached out to 450 and made one-shot kills on all kinds of game with those light calibers. It's just, as we've said, that right bullet in the right place makes all the difference.
All right, 6.5s are hot as a firecracker right now. Obviously, the 6.5 Creedmoor are taking the world by storm. I'm kind of like you on the 6mm Creedmoor. I think it's a great competition round, but I don't see it as a real hunting round for people. But there's an even newer one, the 6.5 PRC, and you've been playing with that one, haven't you?
Yes, got a Model 70 Winchester, older one that was rebuilt by Hill Country Rifles down in Texas. And, oh, my gosh, it's a sleek, trim, sweet, lightweight rifle, but incredibly accurate. Everything I shoot through, it's sub-MOA. But this 6.5 PRC cartridge is that Ruger Compact Magnum neck down to the 6.5, as you said, is the hot cartridge. So you take the high ballistics, you get high ballistics coefficients from those 140 to 147 grain bullets in that, and you push another 200 or so feet per second above the Creedmoor, and you're talking a serious hunting cartridge right there. That's right on the heels of a 264 Winchester Magnum.
Are we not just doing what we just said we weren't going to do, though, taking a normal 6.5 and magnumizing it? We can't help ourselves.
Yeah, but it's really not a Magnum. When you look at the ballistics and the recoils and all, it's that nice intermediate step between the Creedmoor, the 260 Remington velocities, and the real Magnums, the 264 Magnum, or even like the 26 Nosler. If you want to talk Magnums, look at that one, or that 6.5 300 Weatherby. I mean, oh my gosh, those things are really screaming.
All right. I know there are people who are listening to us and they're thinking, yeah, I'm not really worried about recoil. I like my Magnums. Talk for a minute about the benefits of having less recoil.
Well, you just concentrate on your sight picture. And that's a hard thing for us to grasp. I didn't think about this for years and years, but now that I'm older and I'm training other shooters and I watch what they do, it really adds up. I had a fellow shooting a 300 mag a couple months ago at a shooting class, and he was flinching so bad when he got an empty chamber handed to him and didn't know it. He practically fell off the chair pushing that rifle forward from his flinch. Yeah, and then there was a woman, a new shooter, working with a 6.5 Creedmoor, and she, within, I'd say, 20 rounds, was dropping them consistently into a target of 8 inches at 450 yards. And this guy wasn't even keeping a decent group at 100. Wow. He switched from that Magnum that very evening. He got himself a loner in a 6.5 Creedmoor, and then he started shooting very well. And he's taken elk and deer and all sorts of game with this 300 Weatherby Magnum years and years ago. He just didn't realize that he was having to shoot them 4 or 5 times because he was not precise, because he flinched too much.
Well, of course, what happens is they get the Magnum, and then they flinch, and now they're kind of crippling. It takes 2 or 3 shots to get this elk. And they're saying, well, the 300 Magnum must not be big enough. I'll go to the 338 or the 340 Magnum, and they're just making it worse and worse. And now they keep shooting them around the edges instead of going down in size and putting one good, well-constructed bullet right in the heart-lung region, and then all you have to do is sharpen your knife because it's over.
Bingo, man. That's exactly right. But it's difficult to get people to understand it. And don't get me wrong, there are plenty of shooters out there who have trained well and can handle Magnums quite effectively. But golly, if you just want to cut to the chase and start shooting well quickly, skip that Magnum and just go with a good bullet in an everyday ordinary cartridge like a 270 Winchester or the 6.5s we're talking about. They'll do the job.
How far down in power and cartridge size would you go for, let's say, deer hunting?
You know, Tom, I shoot a lot of deer with a 243 Winchester and a 6mm Remington. So you're talking 24 caliber bullets weighing about 80 to 100 grains, and I have had superb luck with those. But I'm also, of course, not flinching and being selective with my shots. A nice broadside shot right behind the shoulder or right on the shoulder, depending on my bullet construction. And I am getting dramatic results with those light little calibers, so why not? I've also stepped down to a 22-250, and just recently in Africa, I hunted with a 223, but I was targeting those smaller antelope over there, and they run from 10 pounds up to about 100, 130 up to the size of an Impala. And I was getting one-shot kills with a 62-grain Federal Fusion bullet on everything. And, of course, no recoil. Yeah, 223 Remington. I mean, who ever thought of going on safari with a 223?
No. But you know what? You're talking about an animal up to 130 pounds. Well, for a lot of people, in a lot of places they hunt, that's as big as a whitetail is going to get.
Yeah, you bet. And that's exactly why I did it. I just wanted to prove to myself what I thought would happen, which is, that's more than enough for a whitetail if you put that bullet in the right place and you use the right bullet. Now, I got pass-throughs with that bonded bullet. The Fusion is a bonded bullet. And at 62 grains, it was only running about 2,850 feet per second, which is not all that fast. And what I wanted was to kill the animal with one shot, get a pass-through, and not destroy a lot of meat or height. You know, in the old days, you'd be over hunting safari with a 375 H&H Magnum or larger. And then when the opportunity came for a really nice specimen of, say, a 30-pound Steenbuck or a 10-pound Dick, oh, my gosh, what did you do, shoot him with a 300-grain bullet? You know, not a lot left to mount at that point, let alone eat.
Right.
So, you know, this worked out just extremely well for me. So next time I'm over there, instead of taking a 375 and a 458, I'm taking maybe a 375 and a 223.
Interesting. Well, it's interesting that we've kind of traveled these parallel paths and ended up in the same place, because I've really become convinced that recoil and concern about recoil, I hate to say flinch, because everybody says, I don't flinch. And you go, yeah, right. Here. Just like you say, you hand them the rifle with an empty chamber when they think it's loaded and watch them pull the trigger, and you're going to find out real fast if they're flinching. And then they will know, too. Exactly.
You know, and I catch myself doing it every once in a while, too. I know. I realize that I do it. And sometimes I can stop myself in mid-flinch. I was shooting at a whitetail one time, and all I had was his head and neck sticking out of the brush, and I knew I had a 125-yard shot, and I had to make it perfect right on that white throat patch. I had a 30-06, and my little old brain said, you're going to flinch. But I just recognized it. I don't know how to explain it. It happened so quickly, but I was able to stop myself as I was sort of flinching forward. I didn't pull the trigger, and I settled myself down and said, dummy, don't flinch. It's just a 30-06. Pretend it's a 22 rimfire, and I made a perfect shot on that second attempt right in that throat patch. So, yeah, and I've been hunting and shooting for 50-plus years. So if I do it, come on, folks.
What's the value or the advantage in all of this to having a good trigger?
Trigger's a big part of it. You know, if you think you've got to not only fight recoil and worry about that muzzle blast and the kick, if you also have to shove a gritty trigger that comes back and hesitates and stops before it finally breaks, and then it's 6 pounds or something, that makes it all the harder. You know, if you can get a nice, crisp, immediate break on that trigger, even if it's 4 pounds or even 5, if it's a nice, crisp trigger with no drag and it's not rough, and you come to that point where you know it's going to break, and then they always say you want to be surprised. I don't really want to be surprised. I want to know when I pull the trigger it's going to break. And that comes by having one that breaks crisply at that same point every time. You know, some of these new triggers from Mossberg and Savage with that internal safety trigger, the active trigger, that type, I find that works really well because you pull that little lever back until you touch the actual trigger shoe, and that sort of tells your brain, now we're getting down to the fine taxes where it's going to break. And that helps you mentally control it without flinching or wondering when you're going to come back far enough on that trigger. Sort of
There's
a preliminary
trigger. Another thing that happens when you've got a really good trigger, and I've had it happen so many times now, I know it's true, is that it increases your confidence to the point where let's combine things. You have a light-kicking rifle, which allows you to practice a lot, and you have a really good trigger on it. I have been out where I actually told people, I know it sounds so arrogant, I hate to even say it, but I said, look, if I see it within range, I will hit it because I have that much confidence in it. I absolutely don't even worry about it.
Yeah. No, that's your training. You're absolutely right. You just nailed it. And it's training. Yeah, you can afford to be a little arrogant when, as they say, if you can do it, it ain't bragging. and with as much dedication as you've put in as a shooter, you deserve to be able to say, I know I can hit it if I shoot it. I know my capabilities. I know my range. I'm good out to 450 or whatever it happens to be. That's not bragging, and I think it helps with your confidence to be able to say that without feeling like you're some kind of an arrogant bragger.
Well, you do a combination of doing a lot of dry firing, and I'm a huge believer in dry firing. It just gets you used to that trigger, to the system, all of that. Sitting down, going from a standing position to drop down to a sitting, put the rifle to your shoulder, mount it up, and then press the trigger, click. And then stand back up, put the rifle over your shoulder like you're walking somewhere, and all of a sudden you see something, you got to drop back down into a prone position or sitting or kneeling over and over again. When it happens, you just go, yeah, I got this.
Yeah, Tom, I think we're brothers from another mother or something because I can't agree more. I do the same exact thing. And I teach it in my classes because being able, so many guys now are going to these long-range precision shooting classes, which are great for learning to shoot far. But then they go hunting and they realize the deer is only 20 to 200 yards away. And they're so busy fiddling around with all their facts and figures and dials and things that they can't make a decent shot.
They forget to shoot the animal.
Yeah.
Hey, Ron, I have run us out of time, partner. Let me tell people if they want to know more of what you're doing, I would say go to RonSpomerOutdoors.com. Any other place they should look for you?
Oh, they can find me on Facebook and Instagram and watch me in Sports Field, Sporting Classics, American Hunter magazines, and all that good stuff.
Sounds good. Listen, thank you so much. I'm going to come out and visit you.
Hey, I'd love it. Come on out.
We'll do that. Ron Spomer, check it out. Spomer, RonSpomerOutdoors.com. Call me, Tom Talk Gun.
Honey, does this holster make me look fat?
The right answers to the tough questions on Tom Gresham's Gun Talk.
I don't know. I may not be touching that question. Just somebody you have to be careful sometimes and just go, well, honey, okay. Hey, by the way, welcome. I'm Tom Gresham, and this is Gun Talk. Glad that you could be with us. We're having a bunch of fun talking about, well, pretty much everything that has to do with guns and shooting and sporting clays, traps, skeet, rifle shooting, handgun shooting, self-defense, concealed carry. If there's something on your mind, by all means, give us a holler. It's easy. Just dial Tom Talk Gun. Easy. Tom Talk Gun. We'll get you on the air. If you don't like guns, I'll give you the floor. Tell me why. I'm actually curious. Just call us at Tom Talk Gun. Danny has done that. He's on line 3 out of Waco, Texas. Hey, Danny, what'd you get?
Yes, sir. I got a Bertha. I've never heard of this brand before. It's out of Argentina. It's a 380 ACP. And mainly self-protection, and I have no knowledge of handguns. I need to get some training, of course. But I just wanted your opinion on this brand and that caliber.
Okay. Why, if you had never heard of it, why'd you buy it?
I felt like the price is right. It was one of those deals, if I didn't get it, I'd be hearing about somebody else getting it and wishing I'd have got it.
Did you buy it new?
It's used.
Okay. Is it the Bertha Thunder?
Yes, sir. Bertha Thunder 380.
Right. Okay. Here's the story on that. Made in Argentina. It is basically a knockoff or a replica of the old Walther PPK pistol, which has been around a long time. It's a fine pistol. It should work just fine for you. The 380 is it's an adequate self-defense round, but only if, and this is the but is if you use the right ammunition. If you do, it's just fine and absolutely it's not a problem at all. If you use full metal jacket, non-expanding ammo, then you are handicapping yourself. You need to get good, which means it's going to be a little bit more pricey. Expanding, probably hollow point, but expanding ammo that's made for self-defense. You can practice with cheap ammo, but for what you're going to carry in it for self-defense, you want good expanding ammunition. I mean, that's the key to getting the most out of this gun.
No, I don't mind pricey. You're just talking hunting rifles and what have you, and my 270 Savage and Remington Ruger, 25-06, I run 100 SSPs through it. So. Okay.
Well, you know the value of good ammo then.
Yes, sir.
All right, let me ask you a question. It sounds like maybe have you not owned a self-defense handgun before?
Never.
Okay, why did you decide to get one? What's going on?
I listen to your program on the weekends, and every time I do, I feel like, gosh, I need to have some kind of defense. I'm out in the country, so I'm my own first responder. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I need to have something. Maybe not at all times. Sooner or later, I need to get my conceal and carry. I don't want to do open carry. I feel like that makes you a target.
Okay, well, all right, we're on the right track here. I'm going to recommend that you go ahead and take the conceal carry class because you will learn a lot there, things that you didn't know, things you thought you knew but you didn't know about the law and when you can and when you can't shoot, that type of thing. So that's important. Go ahead and get your carry permit. And the other thing I'm going to recommend, and you're an experienced shooter, I can tell by the rifles you have, but what you know from hunting or from shooting rifles really does not apply completely to handgun shooting, and it really doesn't apply to a self-defense situation. I'm going to strongly recommend that you find a good shooting school and take a 1 to 2 day class in defensive shooting, and you'll be learning about drawing and shooting and moving. If you don't have it now, buy yourself 3 extra magazines for that pistol. You need 4 magazines at least for that pistol, okay?
There's one came with 1.
Yes. So you need to find 3 more magazines for this pistol because if you're carrying it, you need to always have a spare magazine with you, always. But also, when you go to the range, you need to be able to swap out magazines. You don't want to have to shoot and then reload the same magazine. It's just talking about slow. And then if you take a self-defense class, you're going to be doing shooting and reloading on the move, dropping magazines and moving and shoving another magazine in and racking the slide and keep moving. So all that's critical. So I'm going to suggest, first of all, get yourself 3 extra magazines, take your concealed carry class, and find a real shooting class. Because a concealed carry class, while good and useful, is not really a self-defense shooting class. That's not what they're designed to be.
Gotcha. Now, the owner of our company, her husband is a range master and an instructor for the sheriff's department in northern part of Texas. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm in good hands right there as far as training.
Well, maybe. And I say maybe because of this. He certainly knows what he's doing, but it's not at all the same of going out and shooting with him as it is in taking a real class where it's structured and it's going to take 2 full days. No kidding, 2 full days. You're going to shoot 500 rounds in 2 days. It's completely different from having a buddy or somebody who knows what they're doing, taking you out to the range and showing you a few things because they're not going to drill you the way a real class will.
Gotcha. All right. Okay.
All right, I wish you luck with it. That's going to be an okay pistol. It will not take you long. If you shoot it much, decide that was fun. Now I'm going to go get something that's a little bit better. You already know about buying good stuff, and you're going to discover this is okay, but there are better choices out there. And that's all part of the fun. I wish you luck, and thank you for the call. Let's see, David, don't go anywhere. We're going to get to you as soon as we get back here. 866-TALK-GUN is the number. I'm Tom Gresham. This is Gun Talk.
Tactical professionals who put their lives on the line every day depend on Surefire. Since 1979, Surefire has designed, machined, and assembled the finest flashlights and weapon-mounted lights right here in the U.S. From everyday carry flashlights with 1,200 lumens and mil-spec hard anodized finishes to the most reliable weapon lights on the market for duty use or your home defense firearm, Surefire has what you need. American-built, American-strong. Visit surefire.com.
Maximize your firepower and accuracy with Remington's new Model 1911 R1 Limited Double Stack. Up to 19+1 double stack capacity, so you can spend more time shooting and less time loading. Next level accuracy and handling with a 5-inch wrapped match-grade barrel and adjustable match-grade trigger for greater precision. Learn more at remington.com/handguns. The new Remington Model 1911 R1.
Perhaps more than any other landscape, wetlands embody the life-giving abundance that nature has to offer. And perhaps more than any other organization, Ducks Unlimited is working to ensure that our continent's wetlands not only survive, but thrive for generations well beyond this one. The time is now to band together. The time is now to rescue our wetlands.
All right, welcome back to Gun Talk. I'm Tom Gresham. Our number is 866-TALK-GUN, or just dial Tom Talk Gun. If you'd like to send me an email, tom@guntalk.com. Don't forget, if you don't have it, by all means, you need to have Gun Dealio. It's our smartphone app on your smartphone. It'll save you tons of money. I was getting alerts. Actually, I looked at one that popped up about 3 days ago. I went, oh, that was too good to pass up. It was a SIG Romeo red dot sight for $100 off. But yeah, that's so good. And a lot of times these things the deals are only good for 2 or 3 days. So you really want to set it up and make sure that you allow notifications. Otherwise, you will simply miss out. You got to be able to get the notification when it says, hey, here's a special deal that just popped up. You need to know about it now. It's called Gun Dealio, and you can get it, for your Android and your iPhone. Simple as that. All right, 866-TALK-GUN. David's called us out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, line 4. Hey, David.
Hey, here's a special deal that just popped up. You need to know about it. Yes, hello.
Hey, good. You need to turn off that radio if you would, please.
I am doing that right now.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, my question is, I guess in my area in Michigan, when the shotgun zone, they allow pistol caliber to last, 3 years now. And I'm trying to locate, a good shooting pistol caliber rifle. I have one in 44 Magnum already, but I'm probably leaning toward the 460 Smith & Wesson. My search has not come up with many. Is there anything that is out there that they're making right now? Because I have H&R rifles right now already in the 44 Magnum. I got it in the 30-06, but I don't think they ever made one for that. And I think they've been out of business now since 2015. So I'm just
a lot of it's going to depend on how much you want to spend, because there's a really, really good one out there if you like lever action rifles.
Right.
It's from Bighorn Armory, and it is stunning. It's a beautiful lever action. You can get it in the 460 Smith, which, of course, allows you to also shoot 454 Casull and 45 Colt in it, as you know, I'm sure, already. It is a gorgeous thing. Now, I'm trying to remember if I don't see a price on it, but I think you're going to be pushing $2,000.
Okay.
But, yeah, if you look up Bighorn Armory, in fact, it's just bighornarmory.com, if you at all like lever actions, you will absolutely fall in love. You want to probably go ahead and lock the credit cards in the gun safe before you go online.
That makes sense. I was also wondering if I was hoping that H&R was going to make one in that same caliber, but I guess, like I said, they stopped making them in 2015, and they have one in the 500 Magnum. I'm not sure if that would be inadequate, or is that something that will not be able to push out to 200 yards, or...
Oh, yeah, that'll go 200 yards. It shouldn't be a problem. That's a hoss. Now, I applaud you for understanding. I think the 460 is better for longer range, but the 500 certainly will do it. And also the 460 is simply a more versatile chambering because you can shoot the Casull and because you can shoot the 45 Colt in those. Now, did you say you already have, or do you have a revolver in 460?
No, I have right now. I have like the H&R single shot barrels.
Okay.
I got it in 12 gauge. I've got it in the 30-06, 30-30. I've got one in 44 Magnum, which probably that one I probably would not only push out maybe about 150 yards. I'm guessing, unless I do more ballistics on it, I guess.
Well, I would think a carbine, a rifle in 460, probably, it's an easy 200-yard rifle, easy. And more, the problem is, if it's me, I'm not going to put a scope on a lever action. It just, at least not one of these. I do have a scope on one lever action, and it actually works. It's a scout rifle on a Marlin 1895, and it works pretty well. It's a 450 Marlin. But, boy, this Bighorn is just so gorgeous, I don't think I'd put a scope on it.
No, I can agree with that. Well, like I said, I was just hoping maybe they had something that I could maybe just swap out a barrel on one of the guns I had, but...
I don't know. I tell you what, keep listening. Maybe somebody will know and they can call in. I don't know if there's another option out there. It's not an area that I've looked into real hard, but I do know about the Bighorn because it's just one of those that keeps kind of calling to me. I haven't done it yet, but I look at that and go, yeah, you could pretty much do anything you want to do with that. I mean, that's, if you wanted to go hunt any kind of critter, you can do that. If you want to use it for bear protection, it would absolutely be up to that task with no problem at all. It'd be pretty sweet.
Okay, I will look into that. Appreciate your help.
Absolutely. Well, good hunting. I hope that works for you. Thanks, David. All right, our number here is 866-TALK-GUN. Out of California, no surprise, right? Out of California, California lawmakers passed a bill on Tuesday that would empower, wait for it, school personnel and coworkers to petition a court to temporarily take away firearms in possession of someone they believe to be a danger to themselves or others. School personnel and coworkers could ask the court to confiscate guns from somebody they think is a danger to themselves or others. Now, here's the thing. If you are thinking, well, that sounds reasonable because somebody could be a danger. Stop. You're not understanding what's going on here. Because to a lot of gun banners, they think that anybody who has a gun is a danger to themselves or others. I'm not kidding. They think if you have a gun, you are a danger to others. The story continues. The bill expands an existing gun confiscation law, which currently restricts those who can petition the court for a gun violence restraining order to roommates, law enforcement, and immediate family members of the individual. And I love this quote. From Democratic Assemblyman Phil Ting of San Francisco, he introduced the bill. He told the San Francisco Chronicle, quote, "This is about getting guns out of the hands of the wrong people," close quote. For them, the wrong people is a person who owns a gun. So if you own a gun, we've got to get that gun out of your hands. This is a gun confiscation bill. And under the current law, if a gun owner is reported to the court as a potential danger, his guns are confiscated for 21 days pending a hearing to determine if the confiscation should be extended for 1 year. I love the story. It says, some gun rights advocates and pro-Second Amendment lawmakers consider the measure as an infringement on constitutional guarantees. Yeah. No shoot, Sherlock. Yeah, because there are ways to go about this. It's just another attack on the Second Amendment. These red flag laws where somebody can simply report you in the court. And make no mistake, they come to your house and they take your guns. And they will have a warrant. And they can search your house and take all your guns. Of course, if you happen to be in a state where they register the guns, it's easy. Here's a list of what you own. How about that? And California is not alone. Your state is considering it. I'll guarantee you somebody from the Bloomberg gun ban groups is sitting right now talking to a legislature in your state trying to get them to pass an identical law. It's happened in so many states I can't even begin to tell you. 866 Talk Gun gets you in here. I'm Tom Gresham. We'll be right back with more gun talk. All right, we're back and we're going straight to the phones. Line 1. Ron's with us out of Wagner, Oklahoma. Hey, Ron, what are you looking at here?
Dr. Gresham, I had a young man want to trade me a Ruger Security 9. And I saw a picture of it, and I said, no, I'm not really crazy about striker fires. I like hammer fires. I'm old school and things of this nature. And he said, it is hammer fired.
He is correct. It doesn't look like it is, but it is hammer fire. He's right.
You're going to have to explain this to me like I'm 7 years old. I don't understand. I'm used to this.
Okay, this is weird.
I'm used to the old external hammer.
All right, I'm going to read you off the Ruger website because this is one of those you're going to really. It says it is an internal secure action hammer, and it says provides strong ignition force yet allows for easier slide racking when compared with many striker-fired pistols. So it is a hammer-fired gun that you can't cock the hammer on. It's kind of weird, but it works. I'm going to tell you one thing about it. I'm glad you brought up this. The Ruger Security 9 is a sleeper pistol that a lot of people have not caught on to yet. It is a really nice pistol for not a lot of dollars. They basically are kind of using the same action that they have in their LCP2, which is a really good trigger pull now, and built this around it. It's 9mm. It's a nice little pistol.
Is it still double action, single action? Let's say like a PT series or a P series?
No, you get the same trigger pull every time.
Okay, and so when you put one in the throat, you're cocked.
You are cocked. It does have a thumb safety.
Okay, so that's still kind of like a striker fire.
It's kind of like a striker fired, but it's got an internal hammer. So from a physical design standpoint, they call it a hammer gun, not a striker fired gun. From the standpoint of actual operation, which is what I think you're asking about, yeah, it's more like a striker fired gun, but it does have the safety. It's kind of like carrying cocked and locked in condition 1 all the time, but you just can't see the hammer.
So you do not have a decock on it then?
I'm looking at it right now. It does not have a decock. No, sir.
Okay. All righty. Well, I tell you what, again, you prove yourself to be the guru of guns. So no wonder you make the big bucks. Thank you, sir.
I'm supposed to get money for this? Holy cow.
All this fun, and they pay you too, right?
That's right. Thank you, Rod. Appreciate that. Let's see here. We almost have time. I'm going to get Mark on line 4 in here, North Bend, Oregon. Mark, I have literally 1 minute. Go fast.
All right. I haven't had a gun in 25 years. I need one for self-protection. I'm a good shot, good responsible gun owner. I'm down to the Ruger LCR 38 or the Smith & Wesson 640 hammerless 38. I don't need a slide. I've seen those things in videos jam at the moment of truth too many times. Which one do I get, Tom?
You get the one that you like the trigger pull on. The trigger pulls are vastly different between the two. Both of them are excellent guns, as you probably know. The LCR has a very different feel to it. If you grew up with Smiths and you love that trigger pull, get the 640. But try them both, or at least get your hands on an LCR and dry fire that trigger a number of times. You'll see what I mean. It's very different. For a lot of people, it's easier to pull the trigger. But a lot of us are old school, and we like our Smiths, and we like the 640. You're not going to go wrong either way. Now, I'm going to throw one more curve at you. It's going to be weird, okay? If you're looking at the LCR, take a look at if you can find one chambered for the 327 Federal. You're going to get one more shot, 20% more ammo. You're going to get 6 shots out of it. It has the same power with a Magnum load as a 357 Magnum, but you can get light loads for it for practice. So now you got a 6-shot 38 in the same frame and 357 Magnum power. So there it is. Try them. See which trigger pull you like the best. That's going to be the determining factor for you. And then as a wild card, if you find one in 327 Federal, don't overlook it because that is a really cool cartridge. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Hey, when we come back, Maybe you could get a grenade launcher for your AR. I'm not kidding you.